Hi, welcome to the marketing management presentation for Cisco Systems. My name is Samer El Sadi. This is for marketing management class MBA 6208 at University of Houston downtown. Today is October 16th, 2000. Cisco Systems is the largest networking equipment manufacturer in the world. Cisco Systems designs, manufactures, and sells Internet Protocol-based networking and other products related to the communications and information technology industry. They also provide services associated with these products and their use. Cisco provides a line of products for transporting data, voice, and video within buildings, across campuses, and globally. Its products are utilized at enterprise businesses, public institutions, telecommunication companies, service providers, and personal residences. Below we have some pictures of the products that they manufacture, such as the router, which was deployed back in '87 on the left hand side. Then we have a Cisco switch, then an IP phone, and at the bottom we're looking at a Cisco UCS blade servers. The IT industry overall is $2.1 trillion in 2014. One of the things that IDC predicts is that businesses outside of the IT will fund about 61% of these technology projects. A subset of the IT industry is the networking industry. The networking and communication devices industry is a $141 billion industry. Cisco Systems is ranked number one within that industry with a market capitalization at $117 billion, while the second company is Juniper Networks with $8.4 billion capitalization. So big difference between number one and number two. The IT industry, the networking industry overall has been experiencing consolidations. Few competitors remain in their main product area. In 2006, Cisco had 70% of the share of its core router and switch market. This is another comparison view looking at the Cisco competitors in the telecom industry according to MergeNet Online. It clearly shows Cisco as having a wide financial lead in the industry. Its revenues are much higher, as well as the market capitalization, as well as all the subcategories that are measured. Looking at the industry and analyzing the competitive forces according to Porter, we're looking at 5 forces in this case. Threat of entry is considered to be low due to large capital requirements and innovations. Bargaining power of buyers is also considered to be low across many of the small buyers. Only few large buyers that have high volumes can have some power over Cisco. Cost of switching is also very high. Threat of substitute products or services. This is also considered very low. Bargaining power of suppliers is also considered low, and rivalry among the firms within the industry is considered to be high. Next, we're going to look at these 5 forces in detail. The first one is the threat of entry. In the early stages of the industry, networking firms targeted enterprises to connect their computers and establish local area networks. And home network users were next to non-existent. The growth potential of the industry was limited until the internet boom, after which every household became a potential customer. As the demand for networking and communications equipment increased exponentially, the industry was flooded with organizations ranging from internet service providers to computing giants like HP and Dell. As the industry matured over time, it was gradually overshadowed and dominated by the major firms. Smaller firms were acquired, such as 3Com. Non-networking firms pulled out of the industry, such as Dell. Some merged, such as Lucent Technologies with Alcatel. And some went out of business, such as Nortel. Since then, entry to the industry has been more and more difficult for smaller firms unless they have a revolutionizing concept or technology. Entrants face large capital requirements for product development as router technology is complex and it takes time to develop. In other words, unless a company has a truly revolutionary idea, investors will not risk funding high research and development budgets. Thus, the threat of entry is considerably low. The second force is the bargaining power of buyers. Consumers range from home users to large internet service providers, with enterprises of all sizes in the middle. Although smaller firms and individuals can choose between several firms within the industry, those buyers generally do not have significant buyer power. However, internet service providers and large enterprises that purchase high volume of networking products to either expand their networks or to upgrade them can exert strong buyer power in order to get steep discounts. On the other hand, firms within the networking and communication industry have been able to differentiate their products through unique protocols and management software, in addition to highly specialized certification requirements. Hence, the cost of switching between suppliers is very high. Next, we look at the threat of substitute products or services. So far, the trend has been more dependency on the networking and communication industry, which is due to enhancements in their product lines and adding additional services and features. Since networking products are used to connect computer systems together in order to share data and access the internet, the industry has been able to continuously increase the speed of their products. At the same time, they keep introducing more services that rely on the networks they build. They partner with other industries to create services such as voice over IP, video conferencing, movie streaming, broadcasting, social networks, and so on. Therefore, such services help strengthening the position of the network infrastructure and make it more vital in today's world. Unless a technological breakthrough in the way we communicate today takes place, the network industry will not experience any threat of substitutes from the outside, which certainly favors not only Cisco Systems but also the rest of the industry. The next force is bargaining power of suppliers. Most of the companies operating in the network and communications industry design and manufacture their own products. Yet, they do have to rely on other suppliers to provide them with specialized hardware components such as chips, cases, or boards. As a result of these suppliers usually form alliances with the networking and communication companies and sign long-term contracts where costs are kept constant for a long time. Generally speaking, the hardware suppliers don't have much power over the industry. On the other hand, talent pool, which is considered to be on the supply side of the equation and is used to program and design networking and communication equipment, is nowhere near adequate to supply the workforce requirements of network and communication industry. Furthermore, shortage of talent became much more pronounced following the phenomenal growth in the industry in the last 20 years, which gives the talent force a significant bargaining power over the industry. Consequently, Cisco Systems is susceptible to losing its highly trained workforce to smaller networking and communication companies. In other words, although the actual suppliers don't have much bargaining power over Cisco Systems, talent pool enjoys a healthy bargaining power over the industry. The last force is the rivalry among existing competitors. Rivalry among the current competitors is high. Nonetheless, the industry remains strong and its growth potential is upward. As companies learn to focus on their strengths and their product lines, Most have been able to differentiate themselves from the competition, while the rest focus their products on specific sectors within the industry, such as the telecommunication companies, general enterprises, or the end users. Cisco Systems, however, opted to go after all sectors within the industry by both vertical and horizontal integration, and was able to differentiate themselves from the competition by focusing on customer service and training, in which the company ranks very high. In short, rivalry among the competitors is high, but the competitors learn to adapt and differentiate themselves. Next, we're going to do a SWOT analysis and look at the opportunities. In this case, the products and services expansion is an opportunity for Cisco, additional innovation, and new areas such as cloud computing. Threats, economic slowdowns, which have happened in the past and might happen again in the future. So Cisco have to be watching for those. Consolidation trend, customer loyalty, price wars, and margin erosion due to competition between the firms. And finally, product substitutions. Strengths, Cisco has a very strong market share, has a very healthy strategic alliances with major industry leaders. It has a good human network, and also is getting into a smart grid with electrical companies, which promises to be a $20 billion industry in the future. At the end, also, Cisco has a very strong management that has been consistent and in place for a long time. Weaknesses, lack of presence in the consumer market, high pricing. Cisco has high pricing compared to the other competition, and there every now and then you see cheaper alternatives out there. And lastly, brand recognition in the consumer segment. Cisco is very well known in the enterprises and the service provider area, but it has yet to establish itself in the consumer segment. Now we look at the market segments. We look at the corporate segment, which is refers to enterprise networking and service providers. They have products such as borderless networks, which comprises of routers, switches, wireless systems, security systems, WAN acceleration, energy and building management systems, and media-aware networks. There's also collaboration products, which are IP, video, and phones, telepresence, health presence, unified communications, call center systems, enterprise social networks, and mobile applications. Data center and virtualization products, which include unified computing, unified fabric, data center switching, storage networking, and cloud computing services. And finally, IP-NGN, which is the next generation network, which is a high-end routing and switching for fixed and mobile service provider networks, broadcast video contribution / distribution, entitlement, and content delivery systems. The second segment is small businesses. That includes home businesses and small businesses as well. Usually those are technology-based startups. Products include routers and switches, security and surveillance, IP cameras, data and networking security, etc. Voice and conferencing. These are voice of IP phones and gateway systems, WebEx, video conferencing products. There's also wireless, which is Wi-Fi access points, and network storage systems. The third category is the home user. These are home users or small businesses. There we see broadband, security, flip video, and wireless. Their product offerings basically consist of mainly switches, which is 34% of their revenues. Second is the advanced technologies, which is 24%. Third is the services area, which is 19%, routers 16%, and others 7%. Cisco's strategy is to provide solutions versus just technology. So they look at the customer, they partner with the customers to provide them solutions rather than just products and devices. The sales distribution consists of many avenues, many channels, such as agents, partners, strategic alliances, direct sales force, which concentrates on big customers, big accounts, and so on, and the online business. Obviously, through the online, majority of their sales go through. Here we look at when customers, which 80% of customers submit their orders and they're configured, submitted via Cisco website. Then orders are automatically transmitted to the suppliers and for production manufacturing. And then manufacturers, build and ship 60% of the units. Cisco concentrates on high-end and complex orders. They have consolidation centers in three major centers worldwide, and 70% of the technical support calls do not require human intervention. The supply chain for Cisco Systems has been evolving to a prevalence of outsourcing and globalization. 20 years ago, original equipment manufacturers in the electronics industry were more vertically integrated. Most of them were performing their own manufacturing. However, nowadays Cisco relies on contract manufacturers for almost 95% of their 12,000 products. Cisco uses a variety of independent third-party companies to provide services, to printed circuit board assembly, circuit testing, and product repairs. Outsourcing, Cisco initially identified its core competency as product designing. So in order to focus on that, Cisco outsourced the other non-core activities. Cisco's outsourcing strategy has played a key role in the company's evolution. Without it, John Chambers, the CEO and chairman of Cisco Systems, said, Cisco simply could not have kept up with the mushrooming demands wrought by the explosive expansion of the internet. When we look at pricing, I think Mario Mazzola, the Senior Vice President of Cisco Systems and company's Chief Development Officer, explained it best. He said basically when they develop two products, they look at three major points. The first point on the right-hand side is the price and performance. They don't want to shy away from producing the best price slash performance type of product. So overall, generally speaking, Cisco's products are top-notch products, and at the same time, they're pricey. They're high on price. Second point that they look at is to be more flexible and have intelligence and adaptability in their networks. The third is to have global architectures which have a long life and don't require any type of forklift upgrades. Promotion. Initially, throughout the first 10 years of operations that Cisco was in Cisco Systems grew at an average rate of more than 200% annually. And this was simply done by word of mouth, nothing but word of mouth. Until 92, the company never paid a dime for advertising. They did not need to. Cisco's marketing team realized that they needed to change the way they were promoting their brand and products. Cisco developed a new marketing strategy designed to make its offerings more fun and digestible using interactive games, videos, and virtual events. Instead of highlighting the technology, Cisco stressed the benefits end users could attain by using these products. An example given by Doug Webster, who is a marketing director at Cisco Systems, he said, "We cannot just say that a product provides 322 terabits per second of processing. What they need to say is that the 322 terabits per second is enough to enable every man, woman, and child in China to be on a video call at the same time." Webster explained that this is something that a purchasing manager at a next generation service provider would understand, and consumers can understand as well and help us with our branding efforts. Production introductions. Cisco shifted from one-to-one launch, such as deploying press releases and holding in-person events, to an approach that also delivered a complementary one-to-many focus. Now Cisco takes a follow-the-sun virtual approach. Major launch announcements, which go out online with a broader social media focus, are made multiple times over 24-hour period. Each country or geographic region gets its own link to a highly produced video assets and has access to Q&As and individual dialogues via online chat events with local language product experts. So far, Cisco has seen good results, Webster said. The launch of the ASR 9000 cost 1/8 of what it cost to launch the CRS-1, which is a previous product. On the day of the ESR 9000 debuted, Cisco was able to reach 138 countries as opposed to only a dozen locations with the CRS-1. Webster said it also generated 4 times the total viewership and 4 times the amount of traditional media mentions. With that, this is the end of the presentation. Thank you very much. These are some of the works cited on this slide and the next slide. Thank you very much and have a good day.